US military is often regarded as the most powerful in the world. But can it defeat the Iranian military? This question becomes even more pressing given that both countries are in possession of incredibly advanced weapon systems. So how would a war between these two nations go if they were to face off against each other? Which one will come out on top? Let's find out. But first, thank you for clicking on this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss any new videos. And if you'd like to help us reach our goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers, consider sharing this video with your friends. It really does help us a lot. Also stick around until the end of the video because we have another interesting matchup for you. Now back to the video. The United States and Iran are situated roughly 6,000 miles apart from one another, making a direct attack from one country to the other highly unlikely. Even though Iran and Iraq share a border, the distance between the two nations is still considerable. Given the lack of any physical proximity, it is highly improbable that the militaries of Iran and the USA will ever engage in battle. However, there is always the possibility of proxy conflicts, such as the ongoing conflict in Syria or Yemen, where both Iran and the US support opposing sides. While it is important to note that the US military budget is more than double that of Iran's, which was estimated to be around $76 billion. A head-to-head comparison of their respective militaries reveals some interesting insights. One of the most critical aspects of military power is the Air Force, and both Iran and the US have made significant investments in this domain. The United States has a total of 13,878 aircraft available, whereas Iran only has 423. The United States also has more combat aircraft with 9,431. Compared to Iran is 281. In terms of strike aircraft, the US has a staggering 5,843, far surpassing Iran's 195. Additionally, the US has an overwhelming advantage in fighter aircraft, with 6,665, compared to Iran's. Despite these disparities, Iran has a relatively strong air defense system with 642 units of various types, including surface-to-air missiles, anti-aircraft guns, and radars. While this is impressive, it pales in comparison to the United States, which has over 2,000 active air defense systems. The US also has the edge in terms of major weapon systems with approximately 2,000 tanks, 15,000 combat vehicles, and 5,300 artillery systems. Iran's military capabilities in this regard are less advanced, with around 300 tanks, 2,000 combat vehicles, and 2,000 artillery systems. Despite these numerical disadvantages, Iran has been making efforts to bolster its defense capabilities. The country has recently conducted successful test flights of domestically produced drones and ballistic missiles. The domestically produced drones include the Mohajer-10, Cayman, 22, and Azad, while the ballistic missiles include the Zolianad and Futa. These developments highlight Iran's commitment to advancing its military capabilities, despite the odds stacked against it. Iran's military strength should not be underestimated. Despite being significantly smaller and less wealthy than the United States, Iran has managed to build up a formidable military force. It has invested heavily in advanced weaponry and technology, particularly in the areas of ballistic missiles, drones, and naval vessels. Iran's ballistic missile program is one of the most advanced in the region, with a range of short, medium, and long-range missiles capable of carrying conventional and nuclear warheads. Its drone program has also made significant strides, with the country developing a variety of unmanned aerial vehicles for surveillance, reconnaissance, and attack missions. Iran's navy has also been modernized with the acquisition of state-of-the-art vessels, such as the domestically built submarines and fast attack craft. In addition to its advanced weaponry, Iran has a large and experienced military force. It has a conscript-based army with a strength of over 600,000 active personnel and a well-trained and equipped air force and navy. The country also has a network of paramilitary and volunteer forces that are loyal to the regime and can be mobilized in times of need. Furthermore, Iran has a history of engaging in proxy conflicts in the region through its support for groups such as Hezbollah and Hamas. This experience has honed its military skills and tested its equipment under real-world conditions. Perhaps most importantly, Iran has a strong motivation to defend its territory and interests. The country's leaders are deeply committed to the idea of Islamic revolution and the establishment of a regional hegemony. They view any perceived threat to the regime as an existential one, and will not hesitate to use military force to protect what they see as their rightful sphere of influence. However, despite Iran's military capabilities, it is unlikely to emerge victorious in a direct confrontation with the United States. The U.S. military is simply too powerful and technologically advanced to be defeated by Iran. In fact, a full-scale war between the two countries would be disastrous for Iran and could potentially lead to the country's destruction. Even though Iran has a relatively small air force, it has made significant advancements in developing unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, which have been used effectively in recent conflicts in Yemen, Syria, and Iraq. These UAVs have a low cost and high impact, making them attractive for many militaries around the world. In contrast, the U.S. military has not yet fielded any operational UAVs, although they have been used in various experimental capacities. Despite this, the U.S. military's technological superiority and vast resources would likely overwhelm Iran's UAV capabilities. Additionally, the U.S. military's global reach and advanced logistics systems would pose a significant challenge for Iran to counter. Ultimately, while Iran's UAVs have proven effective in certain contexts, it is unlikely that they would be successful against the might of the U.S. military. The United States, on the other hand, possesses some of the most sophisticated and powerful drones in the world. These drones are used for a variety of purposes, including surveillance, reconnaissance, and targeted strikes. They are significantly more advanced than anything Iran has to offer. For example, the U.S. Reaper drone is equipped with cutting-edge sensors and targeting systems that allow it to gather intelligence and eliminate high-value targets with precision. Similarly, the U.S. Global Hawk drone has an impressive range and endurance, allowing it to stay in the air for extended periods and cover vast distances. In terms of firepower, the U.S. drones can carry a variety of munitions, including Hellfire missiles and precision-guided bombs, giving them the ability to engage multiple targets simultaneously. Moreover, the U.S. has invested heavily in developing and deploying drones in various parts of the world, giving it a significant advantage in terms of experience and know-how. Overall, the U.S. drone technology is far superior to anything Iran has to offer, making it highly unlikely that Iran would be able to match the U.S. capabilities in this domain. Another area where the U.S. has a clear advantage is in terms of naval power. The U.S. Navy is the largest and most technologically advanced navy in the world, with a fleet that includes aircraft carriers, destroyers, submarines, and a variety of other vessels. In contrast, the Iranian Navy is much smaller and less sophisticated. The U.S. Navy's aircraft carriers, for example, are among the largest and most powerful warships ever built. They're essentially mobile air bases that can project American power anywhere in the world. The Iranian Navy, on the other hand, does not have any aircraft carriers, and its largest vessels are its two refurbished Knox-class frigates. Additionally, the U.S. Navy has a large number of advanced submarines that can carry out covert missions and launch attacks from virtually undetected positions. The Iranian Navy, on the other hand, has just a handful of aging submarines that are not considered to be a significant threat to the U.S. Overall, the U.S. Navy's naval power is unmatched by any other country in the region, including Iran, giving it a significant advantage in any potential conflict. In conclusion, while Iran has made significant investments in its military capabilities and has developed some advanced weaponry and tactics, it is unlikely to emerge victorious in a direct confrontation with the United States. The U.S. military is simply too powerful and technologically advanced to be defeated by Iran. Therefore, it is safe to say that the U.S. would win a war against Iran. However, it is important to note that such a war would be disastrous for both countries and would have significant consequences for the entire region. As such, it is in the best interest of both nations to avoid any military conflict and instead work towards diplomatic solutions to their differences. Now let us move on to the bonus part of the video, where we will explore the outcome of a battle between the Russian military and the Ukrainian military. Both countries have a lot in common, as they were once part of the Soviet Union. But since Ukraine's independence in the two countries have developed separate military capabilities. Russia has the second largest military in the world by active personnel with 1 million active soldiers, while Ukraine has the third largest with 152,000 active soldiers. Russia also has a larger reserve force with 2 million people compared to Ukraine's 900,000. Despite having a larger military, Russia has struggled to make significant gains against Ukraine's determined resistance. Ukraine has been able to hold off Russia's advances and inflict heavy casualties on their forces due to their military capabilities. Ukraine has a total of 12,300 armored vehicles, while Russia has 15,500. In terms of tanks, Ukraine has 346 compared to Russia's 1,500. Ukraine also has 267 artillery systems, while Russia has 680. Despite Russia's numerical superiority in terms of military hardware, Ukraine has been able to hold its own. This is due to a number of factors, including Ukraine's knowledge of the terrain, their use of Western weapons, and their determination to defend their homeland. Another important factor has been the level of support that Ukraine has received from the West. Since the start of the war, Ukraine has been provided with military aid from countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany. This aid has included weapons, ammunition, food, medical supplies, and training. This support has been crucial in helping Ukraine to sustain its fight against Russia. On the other hand, Russia has faced a number of challenges in its campaign in Ukraine. One of the main challenges has been the resilience of Ukraine's military and its ability to adapt to Russia's tactics. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, Ukraine's soldiers have been able to inflict heavy casualties on Russian forces and slow down their advance. Another challenge has been the level of international support that Ukraine has received. Ukraine has been able to garner support from a number of countries around the world, which has provided it with the resources it needs to continue fighting. Additionally, the war has had a significant impact on Russia's economy. The sanctions imposed by the West have hurt Russia's economy and made it difficult for Russia to sustain its war effort. As the war in Ukraine continues, it remains to be seen whether Russia will be able to achieve its objectives. However, it is clear that Ukraine's military capabilities have played a significant role in the outcome of the conflict so far, and it is likely that Ukraine will continue to play a major role in determining the outcome of the war. We hope you enjoyed this matchup. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. We have many more interesting matchups coming up. Thank you for watching.